Hello Internet, welcome to episode 1 of the Spigot tutorial series. Today we're going to be covering the main class for a Java Spigot plugin, how to set one up, and how to use the Minecraft development tools that we've installed last episode. So we left off on this screen right here, which is the IntelliJ main interface that you'll be greeted with when you open it. And if you followed last tutorial, we created a simple little empty project so you have everything in place. So to get started, we have to navigate to the File, New, Project. Now on the left hand side we should see Minecraft. If it's not here, that means that you have not installed the Minecraft development toolkit that I showed you how to install last episode, which I highly suggest you go and do because this entire tutorial is going to rely on this project type. So from here we're going to select Spigot and click Next. In the build settings, this is where we declare things like our project path, which is the way I explain it, which really is just your package name. In the group ID, just simply put something like me.B for myself, but for yourself, it could be anything you'd like your username. For the artifact ID, that's going to be the name of the plugin, and the main class that corresponds with your plugin. So, in order to set that up, we're going to be creating a simple plugin called Hello Spigot, which is like the Hello World plugin for learning Java, but Spigot-wise. So I'm going to go ahead and name it Hello Spigot. When writing plugins, a very big issue I see is using names like main or main plugin. Never do anything like that. You always want to have it make sense and go along with your plugin. So I'm going to name it Hello Spigot and make it version 1.0. You don't have to do that. It can be whatever version you'd like, but that's just simple for me to remember. You don't have to remember it though either. And at this page, it's a bunch of more information that we could set, like description, authors, all this stuff that we don't really need. Click Next. Now for the project name, you can name it whatever you want. This is just the folder that IntelliJ is going to create on your computer itself. You can set a project location, which I have here, and you can name this whatever you'd like. I'm just going to name this Tutorial 1. And click Finish. Now when this pops up, just click this window. Now the cool thing about the plugin we installed is that it's going to set up everything basic that we need automatically. In the bottom, this will show up. Just click Enable Auto Import. Now you have the basic setup for your entire plugin. This is the main class. Inside of the main class, you'll have a method called onEnable and a method called onDisable. This is the logic that happens when the plugin is enabled. This logic occurs when the plugin is disabled. This is where you do everything, like initializing commands, initializing events, things like that. So, for the way Spigot to know that your plugin, or your main class is actually a plugin, is that it extends Java plugin. Now you have to make sure this is here. In case you're using a different IDE and you're following along in your own way, and you've configured everything yourself, you need to make sure it's extending Java plugin. Now, you have these two methods here, which are essential. We don't necessarily need onDisable here, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it since it's optional. So, like I said, we're going to be creating a Hello Spigot plugin, which is like Hello World, but for Spigot. So, I'm going to explain to you what the bucket object is. The bucket object is a collection of methods that the server can utilize, or you can utilize to communicate with the server itself. Like, for instance, we can add recipes, we can broadcast a message, we can create inventories, things like that, or get worlds even. But the method we're going to get is we're going to get the console sender, which by name is the class that manages sending to the console, like debug messages. And then we're going to call the method sendMessage, and inside of here we're going to do Hello Spigot. If you're unfamiliar with this syntax, I think you would be better off going and watching a few basic Java tutorials, but I'll still go over it for the sake of simplicity for you. The period here is called, I don't know what it's exactly called, but you can think of it as like an access. This is accessing bucket, the object bucket, and then we're calling the method getConsoleSender, which from here is a method. When you call a method or a function, however you know it, you always have to have the parenthesis after it. And then we're calling dot, again, accessing the console sender that we just grabbed, and calling the function sendMessage. And inside of here, it takes in a string. So we're giving it a string of characters saying Hello Spigot. Now that we have all this out of the way and we've actually created our simple class, one thing I forgot to show you, the left side is the project manager, which has all the files. All of your programming files, all of your source code is going to be inside of source, main, Java, and then your package name. which is where our Hello Spigot is. Now you want to know this because inside the resources, there's a thing called the plugin.yml, which Spigot reads on enabling of all the plugins. It loops through all the plugins in the folder and reads their plugin.yml. This is so it knows exactly what we want to name it, exactly what version we want it to be, and exactly where the main class is. This is the most important part here. If this is incorrect, the plugin will not initialize. So if you get any initialization errors, please check your main inside of your plugin.yml. That is the biggest error I see a lot of new developers making. So it should correspond exactly with your package name and your class name for your main class, which extends Java plugin. Another thing, you can only have one class in your project that extends. You can only have one class that extends Java plugin in your project. Otherwise, you'll have weird errors that you don't want to have to deal with. So just remember that you can only have one class that extends Java plugin. The reason why this says version and then project version is because the Minecraft developer plugin, once you package it and compile it and everything, will automatically replace this for you in the packaged version, I believe. It might be something else, but don't worry about it. This is all created by the Minecraft developer plugin anyway, so you don't have to do this anyway. So, to actually get a jar file from this so we can put it in our server and see our plugin in action, just click View, Tool Windows, and go down to Maven Projects. On the right side, or it might be somewhere else for you, depends on where it defaults, you'll get this window called Maven Projects. Inside of here, you'll see your Hello Spigot plugin. You want to drop it down, click Lifecycle, and Package. This is kind of like exporting with Eclipse, or, yeah, exporting with the normal IntelliJ way, if you're unfamiliar with Maven. Now that that's done, it's already put the jar file into a target folder for us. So to access this, we're going to right-click it, and click Show in Explorer. So now that we have access to the actual plugin itself, I'm going to show you guys how to download and install or create an actual test server. You want to go to the internet and type in download Spigot, but probably spell it right, and you'll get to this website. From here, you want to click Spigot-latest, which I will link directly in the description. If it's not there, just Google download Spigot, and it'll be there eventually. You'll find it. And just click this, and it'll download for you. After you've done that, you want to go ahead and go to, I'm going to create a new window. You want to go to your downloads, and it should be right there. After you've done that, you're going to want to locate somewhere on your computer to make a server. I suggest making its own folder because it can get cluttered. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this. Alright, so after you downloaded this, you're going to Control-C and Control-V and copy it into here. I'm going to rename it to spigot.jar because it's just cleaner in my opinion. Now you want to create a new file called start.bat. What this is going to do is it's going to run some lines on Windows command prompt for us to automatically open the jar with the proper settings. So once you get here, you're going to copy and paste this piece of code that I'm going to leave at the top of the description for you. All this does is it uses a Java command to open a jar called spigot.jar, which we have in here, whatever the name of this jar file is, with this amount of RAM allocated to it. So you want to save that and close it. Now you want to double click this start.batch file, and it'll say loading libraries, please wait. And it's going to crash instantly. That's because we have to accept the EULA. The EULA is just a terms of agreement kind of thing that you have to accept for your server to be able to play or actually run. To accept it, just simply change this to true, save it, and close. Double click the start file again, and it should start generating your worlds and all the other things that you need for a basic server. The first time go around, it's going to have to prepare the spawn, so it does take quite a bit of time, but nothing too long, just a few seconds. 10 at the most. Or 13. So now that it's created itself and everything's good to go, we're going to type stop, which is a command understood by the console. That means terminate itself. Respectfully as well, respecting all the plugins that are loaded so it doesn't just, crash. So after you've done that, we can go to close this folder and go back to our target folder. If you've lost track of this, go to your IntelliJ and just right click on the target folder generated after packaging, right click that, and click Show in Explorer. You want to grab the Hello Spigot-1.0.jar or whatever version that you decided to name it, and ignore this one. We want to use this one, and sometimes when you package there will be a shaded version. Also ignore that one. We just want to use this one for the sake of simplicity. Open up our plugins, Control-C and Control-V. Now, go back to this, and start.bat. I'm gonna full screen this so you guys can get the full view. It's gonna load everything, and now it's gonna start loading plugins. And as you can see down here at the bottom, it says enabling Hello Spigot version 1.0, which is automated by Bucket. We don't have to do that. And then right below it, since we said in the on enable, we want to get the console center, which is this window really, and send a message to it saying hello Spigot. That's exactly what it did when it enabled, because it was in the on enable. So now you know how to actually create a project with the new Minecraft development, and you know how it's set up, what the main class does, what on enable and disable are, and how to send a message to console. Next episode, we're going to touch on some more advanced topics like commands. See you then.